Hey guys, Megan or Stitching May here on this July the 30th to try to do an update video. I said that because I've had a lot of false starts and now it's thunderstorming. It's been threatening to rain for several days now. We get the thunder and the wind, but no rain. Now we're getting both. I know I posted it saying that it would be this week before I did an update video, but I found myself with time to do it now, so here I am. My husband is installing a shower door. I've done the wifely duties of hold this while I measure here, make sure this fits, and all that kind of stuff. Now he's actually installing it and was like, okay, now you can leave me alone. And my son is soaking up those last few minutes of video game time with his buddies before school starts tomorrow. He's gonna be in 8th grade, guys. I've got a teenager. Anyway, so I found myself with time, and here I am to do the video. Why does this always feel so awkward starting off? Once I'm in the video, it's fine. It's the starting of the video that's the hard part. Anyway, I've got a new microphone. My cousin and I have been doing videos on our channel called Floss and Found, where we just sit and we stitch a little while we chat, and we realized that my camera was picking up a lot of ceiling fan noise, so I got a microphone to see how that worked. I really like the sound on our videos. Let me know what you think, if you like the sound this way or not. I'm having to remember not to scream at the camera, though, like I used to do. So I'm here with some progress. I've actually stitched on a few of my projects, and I do not have any new starts, no finishes, and the power goes out. Wow. So the power's back on. The storm has calmed down. I've got all the stuff stopping screaming from the power failure, and I've gotten the cat out of the room. He does not. The only time Vader comes near me is when there's a thunderstorm. Anyway, so I was saying starting these videos is awkward, but after I started like that, there is no more awkwardness, right? Just go with it. Anyway, as I was saying, I've got some progress on my whips. I have no new starts, no finishes, but I do have a planned start, and I'll explain more on that later. I've been doing a Monopoly game where each whip is kind of assigned to a spot, and then there's all these things that determine how many stitches you stitch. It's really neat, and it's been getting me to kind of work through my whips some. I had been kind of having a monogamous year where I was only working on the Put a Bird on It SAL, trying to catch up. I'm so behind on that. That whole whip's got a whole story that now I'm just kind of stitching on whatever comes my way. So, without further ado, in no particular order, here is my progress. Let's hope the power stays on. I have Love Bugs by Telling Emblems. So this one is one that I'm actually stitching horizontal instead of vertical. That was a happy accident. I just started with the fabric going the wrong way. It fits, so I'm keeping it that way. And I also changed the order, so I'm doing the bee, then the dragonfly, and then the butterfly, because I wanted the dragonfly to be the focal point. And this is stitched on some Aida that I dyed myself. It's just a random beige Aida, and I did some gray dye on it. I actually dyed this just messing around with the fabric dye. Liked it and kept it. And then when I saw these colors, I was like, oh, it fits perfect. So this is where I currently am. The last time I showed you this, I had completed the bee, and I had done the background of the butterfly and some of the corners, like started on the corners. I completed out the corners, completed out the body of the dragonfly. I still have some stitching to do on the wings, and of course the antenna, and then there's some decoration in this oval, and then that oval that piece will be done as well. I think I put about 609 stitches in this one. I don't know all my numbers. I kind of know them. I'll be more exact on the next video. But I loved these colors on this gray fabric. And I'll still have a half of a piece to stitch it on. And this needle minder is from stitch and button. Keep it squatchy. Yeah, let's focus on it that way instead of this way. See, I swear, guys, every time I do a video, I feel like a brand new person. And I am keeping this in a stitch and button bag. It's got these beautiful dragonflies on the back, and then that as the inside. So the microphone is great, except that where it plugs in kind of blocks my viewfinder. So I end up like having to squat down. I shouldn't be looking at that anyway. I'm looking at you here. That's the plan you start. I can't show that yet. I also worked on my oldest whip, which is Tree of Hope. It's been forever since I've worked on this one. So as a general overview, this is where I currently am. I already had the canopy stitched. I mainly worked on the bottom of the trunk and then the lady's dress. Don't know where to peek to make sure you can see it. Closer in. I worked here on, let's see if I can get it. This greenery around the trunk. Finished out her bodice here. And then worked on some of the purple closer to her body. I don't have any idea when this will be finished. Just the mesh bag, nothing special. I also worked on my Green Damsel Mandala by Ink Circles. Y'all, this one makes me remember I started this while I was on Virtual Stitchers a while back ago. I always have to remember up the top. This is where I currently am. I stitched on, wait, no. Yes. I stitched on this top part here. Came down the side some to start stitching on the side. I actually worked on this twice because I'm on 2 Monopoly boards. So I stitched here at the top and then here at the bottom. So I stitched 500 stitches on this twice. So that's about 1,000 stitches, oddly enough. So actually getting some good progress in. I currently am working on Cinnamon Stars. It's the current prompt. I've got to put in 300 stitches on this one. I've got just those few little stars coming out of the chimney. That's it. It's maybe 100 stitches, so I need about 200 stitches more on this one. This is one that I literally started and stitched like one of these little rocks and didn't touch forever. And then this was going to be my SAL piece where I worked on it each month. Didn't stay up with it. So here I am now, just stitching on it like a regular whip. This is a Monopoly needle minder from Vic or Stitch and Button. And it is in one of her bags, but I don't have it here on me. But I do absolutely love these colors. And I did stitch this on the called for or in the called for threads, but I think it's just on the MCG textiles. It was one of my many 2020 starts. This was a whip that I picked up from my friend Connie. This is Proverbial Home. It was a give up from her. It's by Hands On Design. It says, by wisdom a house is built, and through understanding it is established. Through knowledge its rooms are filled with rare and beautiful treasures. It was started on a Ada. I don't know what brands. she stitched the opposite than me, so I have to stitch on it vertically when I stitch rather than horizontally. This is where it currently is. There is not a lot to stitch, just this bottom row of Quaker stars and then the top verse. And I think that's it. Maybe some of the little trees at the top. This is 4 strands over 1 block because the blocks are so big. I'm not sure what I'll do with this when I'm finished. I haven't decided yet. Another prompt that I was on had me stitch on my Quaker Alice. I'll insert I think it's technically Quaker Fantasies by RATM. I call it Quaker Alice. I'll insert what it looks like when it'll be finished here. I actually got a pretty good amount of this done too. I'm getting more amounts of stitching done on each project. So for this one, I actually finished out this blue bodice here and stitched some on her arm. A lot of the skirt, the blue bodice, and the arm is what I stitched. And that was at least 500 stitches, if not closer to 600. So there that one is. Guys, and I'm really liking going through all the different projects. Really, really loving going through all the different ones. Then I worked on my Earthly Treasures by Plum Street Samplers. And I was a little worried that I wasn't going to have enough stitches to finish this one. And then I realized I most certainly did. And then I had to buy steal some thread from another project because I ran out. But we're good. I had plenty in another project. So this is where I am. All that is left is really to stitch this same vine on this side. And then this will be a finish, guys. I hope to work on this again this year, and I hope to finish it this year. Even if it's not prompted, I may pull this out in December if I haven't got to finish and try to finish this one this year. And it says, dwell not on earthly treasures, nor covet, envy, or pout. Thou entered this world and brought nothing in, and will carry with thee nothing out. And then my needle minder is antisocial butterfly. That is so me. If I know you, I like to spend time with you, but I do not like big groups. And this is just in a little small bag that was gifted me a long time ago from Kelly. And then last but not least is my Put a Bird on It SAL. So the story with this one is, in my last video, I told you guys that we were going on vacation, and I did go on vacation. We took a little small trip up to Pigeon Forge, where my friend went with us, and she's also a stitcher. She does more of the stamped kits, but she does stitch. And with us moving from different pools to the room to whatever, I managed to leave my floss at the hotel. Didn't realize it until several days later. I'm sure it was found, and they were like, what in the world is this? And thought it was trash and tossed it. No big deal, except they're hand dyes. And one of them was an out of print or no longer made hand dye from Color and Cotton. So I got online, ordered the replacement flosses because she did have the green, the brown, the orange, and the dark blue, but she did not have the light blue. My initial one was Duck Pond. I reached out to people on the group to see if they had anything, and nobody did. So I purchased 2 of the Battleship, and if I'm honest, I was a little worried that I was going to run out of the Duck Pond anyway, so it kind of just made a decision for me. I thought about changing out the blue, but because I was worried about not having enough of it. So this kind of just made the decision for me. So now I'm using Battleship. Here's my thing, and why I haven't stitched on it since then. This Battleship does have some very light blue in it. You see how it's got the dark blue and then the light blue in it? This color that I stitched in was duck ponds. So there was a battery failure. Guys, I swear. As I was saying, the light blue in the project is called duck pond. And this is what the duck pond looks like. I'm wondering, as I stitch this, if this is going to be close enough to just leave it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch everything else as is. And then once I'm done, I'm going to decide whether or not I need to pull out this only motif that was done in the duck pond and restitch it in the Battleship, or if it's okay to leave it. I'm not going to decide until everything else is done. I'm not going to frog it yet. But this is where I currently am. Not even close to being halfway done, which is where I should be done for it being July, considering this was supposed to be a section a month. I will stitch on this more. I would love to finish it by the end of the year. I don't know that I will. And if I don't, I'm okay with that. And this is just stitched on a coloring cotton. I think it's called Antique Lace. I'm not 100% sure. But either way, that is where I currently am. And this is in a bag that was gifted to me by Miss Emily C. Don't remember who she said she got this from, and I don't have a tag on it. But it's this beautiful, beautiful quilted with this backing fabric, inside fabric, and then the back is these with all these birds. I also worked on my Prairie Santa thanks to the Monopoly prompts. I don't know if you remember, I have all of the Prairie Schooler Santas, and my plan is to stitch them all. And I've stitched them 1/1 on 25 count New Summer Khaki, which is hard to find. So I've got some other ones mixed in, like some just plain khaki and that kind of thing. Just 25 count to make them small enough to make ornaments. I was going to do a ornament tree, but after seeing the Twisted Stitcher Irvana, she posted somewhere where she had garland going up like her banister, and she had these ornaments in the banister, in the garland in the banister. And I've got an area that I'm thinking that I could put at Christmas, put some garland up and hang these from the garland instead. It's not a banister, but it is like over an archway door thing. I don't know. I just want them done. I think I'm on number like 3. So it'll be a while. But that is where I am. This is a random Squirtle Pokemon needle minder off of Esty. Squirtle is my favorite Pokemon. I don't know why. The name cracks me up. I liked him before I even my son was into Pokemon and I was not. And we saw Squirtle, and I don't know, his name, Squirtle the Turtle, just kind of made me laugh, and so I got him. Fell in love with him. Pardon the cut on my finger, guys. That involves making a sub sandwich and cutting some bread, and I'm not supposed to use knives, and I did, and well, I got cut. Or I cut myself. And that is it for progress. However, I do have a planned new start. And as I was kind of saying quickly earlier in the beginning before the power went off, my cousin Sunshine and I have been making videos. She's a new stitcher, and she's been stitching on one project. And hers is one from the Daily Cross Stitch called Sunshine with a little mixed with a little hurricane. And we are starting her first SAL, her second project. I have no stats on me for that. Too many projects, too many whips. But we're going to start it on August the 13th. Part of kind of the Dark October stitching. The 13th. But it is a project by Story Stitches. It was a SAL a year or so ago, but it's the Nightmare Before Christmas SAL, but we're doing it this year. We're not doing any strategic how many stitches. It's just what we're going to stitch on when we do our videos. We do kind of Stitch with Us videos over. We got another channel. It's called Floss and Found. I'll link it below. But if you want to start this, feel free to start along with us at any point. It is through Story Stitches. I'll link her below. It is a free pattern, but you can buy a coffee to thank her for designing the design and offering the pattern. She also has optional, like 4 little optional squares. If you want to sub out the squares, there's a Sally's cat, a Cyclops, the creature under the. There's a few different ones that if you decide that you don't like the ones that are in the actual thing, you can kind of divide them out. But we are stitching this on 18 Count Haunted by Picture This Plus. We initially got a Stormy Clouds, but it was very, very white in the background. We wanted more of the dark cloudiness instead of the bright cloudiness. So we opted for this instead. And now she officially has cross stitch stash. Started her in 2 habits. And then we're stitching it in the called for DNC. Guys, it's just a plethora of colors. Beautiful, fun colors. I think they're going to look great on this gray background. I feel like they're really going to pop. But we're starting that on August the 13th. And we will start that on video. Emily got me this bag as well. This is from Wild Berry Stitching. This one does have a tag. Does that one have a tag on the back that I didn't see? It does not. And it's just a pretty little daisy and blue flowers. And the inside has daisies on it as well. Like, amazing. Now into haul. There's not a lot. For me, there's not a lot. I do have some replacement DNC that you don't care about. I don't know why I stuck that in there to show you. I did. You don't care about it. I was gifted this. My sister found this at a yard sale. It's through Pine Mountain. And it is Netherfield. And it says, "How ardently I admire and love you." And it looks like there's actually a look for the remaining 4-part Jane Austen series at your local needlework shop. So it looks, apparently there are 4 parts, but it does not look like they all go together. It looks like they are all different designs. I've not looked it up online. It's by Sandra Workman, Pine Mountain Designs. I don't know what this one is called, but it says the distance is nothing when one has a motive. So then I got my monthly subscription to Coloring Cotton. This one is called Lily White, but it does have almost a vanilla color to it. Like, it's not white like my door is. It's got kind of a vanilla hint to it. And if you think about it, lilies are kind of vanilla-y. Is that correct? The right way to say that? So she ships in this plastic, but I do like that she adds this little tag. That little tag. Of course, I found these on Etsy. Pop of Patriotic. I had to get that one. It comes with the 18 count fabric and floss. So they came out with the seasons. Now they're doing the holidays. And the completionist in me has to have them all. I don't know when I'll stitch them all, but I had to have them all. And then Flag of Stars. I feel like I may have had this pattern, but I didn't have the floss and the fabric, and it was such a good deal that I just went ahead and got it. And then if I do have this pattern, I can do it as a giveaway when I start this one. We'll see. I gotta look to my stuff and see. But I really was purchasing this one. This one was a good deal, and it had another pattern that I've gifted now in it as well, so couldn't turn it down. And then I think, yep, that is it. Yeah, I think that's it for now. Um, as always, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for taking the time to comment if you do. If you're new here, please like and subscribe the video. And I'll see you next time. I'm hoping to do these more regularly. This is more regularly for me. Like it's within the last 6 months, so that's good. And like I said, I have been doing the videos with sunshine as well. Guys, take care. And as always, happy stitching.